So within the model that you're in right now, like where do you feel like you guys have like your biggest challenges right now?
KPIs. I
KPIs.
talked to, yeah, dude, this is like your bread and butter, man. Like, I'm not good at this stuff. I'm only good at talking to people, right? Whether it's sellers, whether it's relationships. So I attract like-minded people in my company who are really good on the phone. And we've got a good CRM, but like I'm
Mm-hmm.
not tracking. Like I'm not really good at tracking. And I brought somebody on. I brought one of my partners on. To help with that. He comes from a ad agency background. He's like got an MBA. He's
Mm-hmm.
really good with numbers. But
Yeah.
like that's the biggest hurdle, dude. Is like, okay, we get about 20 leads coming into our system every day. Like, how
Mm-hmm.
fast are my people calling me? Calling these leads?
Mm-hmm.
What's our conversion rate? Like, I'm not tracking these things, and that's a problem
Yeah.
because I'm losing money by not tracking my numbers.
Yeah, for sure. So what I would say is, first, obviously, like your model, like everyone's model is going to be a little bit different as far as like what are the
Yeah.
things that you're tracking. So some of the things that I would look at as far as tracking goes is one is obviously, from the beginning, because obviously if you're doing direct to seller, you want to be tracking the lead generation that you're doing, whether it's cold call, text, direct mail, PPC, whatever, right? So that on direct to seller, that's what you'd be tracking. But now where your model is getting leads from other investors, you should be looking at, okay, who, like, so that the guy that digital background and MBA, that's good with numbers, he should be helping track these things. So what you should be doing is having the conversation with him, or have him watch the reporting of these few things. But he should be
Right.
looking at how, like, do you know how many suppliers of deals you're getting leads sent to you from? Like, how many people? Is it the same, like 5 people, 10 people, or like
Yeah,
what's that
it's
look
like
like?
10. It's like 10 suppliers, right? So they just lead
Mm-hmm.
generate, they hand it off to us, and once we get a deal, we
Mm-hmm.
bring in somebody who's going to dispo, right? And so
Got it.
they're generating leads, and so but then you've got high to low quality, right? Like in them, they're like our top hitters who are like
Oh yeah.
they're like 10 leads a day. They're high quality. We're getting them 2 or 3 contracts a month. Great stuff. And then you've got like some people who really don't know what a lead is, and they're just kind of sending us everything. And like
Mm-hmm.
my next mission right now is to get all my suppliers like on the same page and have like training workshops for them and say, hey, this is a lead. This is not a lead. Hey, are you data validating your leads? Are you who are you using to skip trace? Like some of your leads suck, and just getting them on a good standard.
Yeah. So the leads that are being generated. So one of the things I would look at is I would have the tracking. Obviously, you have tracking to who submitted the lead, right? What team of supplier. So what I would be having the guy, that the MBA guy is, I would have him have all the top 10, if those 10 suppliers are typically who those deals are coming from, have those 10 names on, whether it's an Excel or wherever, like, doesn't need to be fancy, have those 10 names, those are the people, and then have for each day, Monday through Friday, having him at the end of each day, from John Smith, we got 3 leads. From Susie, we got 2 leads. From we got this many leads. And I would have it each day of the week, Monday through Friday. So then each week you're able to look back, and then, because you want to be having conversations with some of your suppliers. So if you're tracking over the week, how many of those came in as leads, and having another category underneath that individual supplier of, say, John Smith submitted 3 leads today. Somebody on our acquisition team got 1 contract on Wednesday for that individual. So you'll look at a spreadsheet of like 10 names. You see the leads that they're submitting daily, and then you're tracking the contracts that you got daily. Obviously, you're not going to get a contract every day from every supplier. So then, 3 months down the road, you can be looking at the spreadsheet and seeing, wow, it looks like, based on the data over the last 3 months, this supplier, even though they were submitting less leads than this supplier, was actually generating us more contracts because they're more quality leads. And the reason you want to do this is that you could start honing in on who you want to be spending more of your time with, and what deals became more profitable versus other deals. So having on there, say, John Smith, leads submitted that day, contracts that were contracted that day, revenue closed contracts that day, so that you can see, okay, over the last 3 months, John Smith submitted 200 leads. We had contracted 4 deals with John Smith, and we generated $80,000 in revenue. And that equated to this much money for the company, because obviously, like, whatever your split is to give to that partner, but right. Then you're able to track on your end where you should be spending the most of your time, because the squeaky wheel is always what gets the most grease. And what I mean by that is you have people that are probably trying to take your time and take your team's time, that are just submitting garbage constantly, but you're giving them attention because they're submitting the garbage and, hey, I have a lead over here, right? But then you have the people that are just getting you leads, and then you're actually closing deals. So then you could start honing in on who you're spending your time with, because once you're making money, like, that's the hardest part for most people is, okay, we're making money, money's coming in, now what? Well, then you have to start refining the way the processes are working, and the way you do that is by getting better hold of your KPIs, because obviously it's not going to be you that's doing this. So you need to get that MBA partner of yours to create this, and then you just need to be able to pop in there and look at it at any given week. Or if you're doing are you doing like a weekly meeting with
his name's Matt, so he's my partner. I meet with him daily. Okay. Yeah, Matt, so he's gonna join some too, just to go to your integrators. And he's not a real estate guy, right? I brought him in. He's been watching your YouTubes to learn from you. So everything he knows about real estate is from your and Pace Morby's YouTubes, everything you put out for free. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just make a business decision. Let's just buy him into the mentorship, just so he gets access to you and the community.
So here's what I would do with Matt is, because your daily meetings are more probably about what leads are hot, what are we working on, what's close to converting, like those conversations. So I would still do those daily, like your daily stand-up, meetings. But I would have a separate once a week meeting where you're doing a little bit more of an in-depth meeting, where you spend, say an hour, and you're going through and you're looking at that spreadsheet. And Matt is the one that's like presenting the facts and figures for you. Matt's saying, okay, of these 10 suppliers, these are our 2 best suppliers that we had last week. These are the couple contracts that we got. Maybe you do something where you're trying to invest some money into what they're doing. Like what we do in our business is if we have suppliers that bring us deals, like we'll buy them some data. So, say you go to Batch Leads, buy some data on there, and, shameless plug, but, for anybody watching, if you don't know where to skip trace your leads, you can go to batchleads.io/pace and get a discount to pull some data there. With that, pull 5,000 records or 10,000 records. If you're having, a couple people that are consistently bringing you deals that are bringing these lead opportunities that are converting, you can start to make those decisions better. So you don't just like, well, all of these people are bringing us leads, but who's bringing us the leads that are actually turning into deals? That's what you want to be focusing your time on. And as your business starts to grow and you start refining your KPIs, then say if you're focusing on having 10 suppliers, maybe you grow it to 15 suppliers. And then you have to shrink it down to 10 to 12 again, because 3 to 5 of those were just not great suppliers that were taking more time than they were creating, opportunities. So that's what you really have to start refining, because it can be easy to be all over the place as you start bringing in money, and then as you have different people bringing deals and opportunities, and it just feels like you could be spinning your wheels and not really getting any traction, right? So that's where the refining of those numbers are going to be super helpful. So I know that was a long tangent on just KPIs, but just, initial thoughts on that.
So I want to say this before we go on, like for the people watching, like Cody he and I did not talk before this about my business model. Like this is our first conversation about what I do. And dude, in 3 minutes of me just telling, hey, this is my business, this is one of my struggles, you just gave me $1 million worth of value. And I mean that. Like, I'm going to go do what you said, and we're going to hit $1 million in revenue next year. I really believe that. So, holy crap, dude, you're a freaking genius. That is exactly what we need to do. Exactly what we're going to do. Thank you.